chip on mine. Me now carrying down with your man can't pick up it off here. Me.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let me welcome you to this, our 0 to 3 comprehensive sensitization session. Thank you for being a part of this session. You're in for a very interactive, informative session. So at this time, I'll ask Mrs. Alison Orgel to lead us in prayer.
Good afternoon, everyone. The topic for our inspiration today is imitation or genuine. All the prophets were prophesying before them. Then Zedekiah said, "This is what the Lord says." All the prophets were prophesying this as well. 1 Kings 22, 10 to 12. Zedekiah understood what it meant to be a prophet. He knew the vocabulary and how to deliver prophecies. In similar ways, others also thought they were prophets. When Zedekiah spoke to the kings of Israel and Judah, he did all the expected things, appearing to be genuine. But King Jehoshaphat wasn't convinced. He decided to summon another prophet, Micaiah. Micaiah revealed that he had seen a vision of the Lord sitting on his throne. Verse 19, the Lord asked, "Who will entice Ahab?" Verse 20, one spirit said that he would be a deceiving spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. Verse 22, Zedekiah reacted angrily, but Micaiah knew he had heard from God. His words were proven true, and Zedekiah was proven to be a false prophet. Many people say that they understand the issues of our time and know the answers. The opinions of celebrities and politicians can seem so convincing. It's easy to believe what's presented in the media. If we don't have discernment, we can be deceived. This is why we must be grounded in God's word. Make sure you don't believe everything you hear, even if it sounds convincing. Live according to God's timeless word. Let it be your guide and standard. Be filled with the Spirit and become more sensitive to his guidance. Commit all your decisions to God. Let him show you what's genuine and what's imitation. So, Father, give us discernment to know what we should believe. We place our hope and trust in your word. In Jesus' name, amen. Father, as we commit this session to you, O Lord, this training session for 0 to 3, Lord, we pray that it will be a meaningful experience, and Lord, that we will have open minds to what is presented to us. Lord, we pray that it will be run smoothly and all participants will be receptive of what is taught. This is our mercies we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Mrs. Orgel, for reminding us that we should let the word of God be our guide in helping us to identify what is genuine in opposed to that which is not. I'll now invite Mrs. Andrea Edwards-Brown, Senior Inspector, Region 7, to take us through the overview of the 0 to 3 comprehensive training manual.
Good afternoon, everyone. Give me a second to project. Thank you.
So while she's projecting, I invite you to be fully in tune in this session. There's a lot for you to learn today. And at the end, your reflection will speak to that. So welcome again, everyone. Thank you. Go ahead, Mrs.
Are you
Edwards.
seeing my screen?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you. Be sure from the beginning. Slideshow. Okay, so we will be now looking at the overview of the Fetus to Toddler training program. And this is the entire manual that we'll be looking at. For whatever reason, my slides are not changing. All right. So it's the overview of the Fetus to Toddler training program. So by the end of this presentation, participants should be able to share an overview of the training program, explain the need for training participants, describe how the training will be implemented, state the benefits each participant will garner upon completion of this training program. So the rationale is that Kincaid Clark et al. 2020 suggests that embedded in the conventions on the rights of the child, the Sustainable Development Goals, and Vision 2030 are tenets that concern early childhood care and education. However, the appropriate care and education for all young children continues to be a challenge, not just for Jamaica, but for CARICOM countries. Therefore, it is crucial that practitioners, parents, and other stakeholders be further supported in providing early childhood care and education. The Fetus to Toddler training manual were designed to provide training for parents and practitioners on how to support the growth and development of young children from as early as conception through to age 3. Having gained this exposure, any inappropriate practice should be altered. So we're thinking that when parents would have been exposed to this program and practitioners, then their practices would automatically be improved. The background, the Fetus to Toddler training manuals are national training programs that aim to provide early childhood field staff, early childhood practitioners, parents, and other stakeholders with the competencies needed to better support the young children in their care. 2 training manuals were designed for this program. We have one for early child practitioners and another program for parents and families. So this training program, it was derived from the concept of the Brain Builders program, which forms a part of the Brain Builders capacity building program. And that's the background. So we're now going to move into the aim. So the aim of this program is to equip parents, early childhood practitioners, and early child practitioners with the knowledge, skills, attitudes, and expertise to support children's growth and development from conception to 3 years old. So we're going to take a look at the parenting manual outline. So for the parenting manual, it comprises of 4 modules. So we have module 1, which looks at conception to birth. Module 2 looks at birth to 12 months. Module 3 looks at 12 to 24 months, and module 4, 24 to 36 months. Parent Training Manual. This training manual aims to provide parents with the necessary tools to properly care for themselves, their fetus, and child or children birth to 3 years. The manual in its simplest form will allow parents to understand the first 1,000 days of a child's life by using real life experiences in practical sessions. So there's a manual outline, and this manual outline speaks to the manual for the practitioners. The content includes all areas of child development, such as early stimulation, inclusive learning, and nutrition. The manual is comprised of 4 modules. Module 1, conception to birth. Module 2, birth to 12 months. Module 3, 12 to 24 months. And module 4, 24 to 36 months. We spoke to the module for parents and families and the module for practitioners. The module for parents and families will be facilitated or trained. Those parents and families will be trained by Mr. Bottom and Miss Miller, while the modules for practitioners will be trained by a team selected by Mrs. Morgan. So we're going to look at the manual outline, and that is speaking to module 1, what is in it. So in module 1, unit 1, we are looking at prenatal and antenatal development, conception and early childhood and early pregnancy. Sorry about that. What to expect in the first trimester, the second trimester, and third trimester. In unit 2, we are looking at nurturing care and nutrition, maintaining a healthy diet, exercise during pregnancy, the impact of touch and voice on a fetus, fathers and mothers bonding with babies before birth. In unit 3, we're going to look at healthcare and pregnancy. A healthy pregnancy, harmful practices, diseases, and environmental influences. Maternal illnesses, maternal hygiene, and all you need to know about labor. For module 2, we are looking at units 1, 2, and 3 on this slide. We're looking at postnatal care. Maternal and newborn care in the postnatal period, life with a newborn. The postpartum care, maintaining a healthy diet and exercise. For unit 2, we will look at growth and development, the first year of life, baby's growth and development, the first 6 months, baby's growth and development, 6 to 12 months. And we are going to look at theories of development in unit 3, infant and toddler development theories, behaviorism versus cognitivism, creating the developmentally appropriate learning environment for children. And we continue in module 2, where we'll go from unit 4 to 6. For unit 4, we will look at nutrition, birth to 1 year, nutritional values for children, birth to 6 months, nutritional values for children, 6 to 12 months, nutrition for infants. And unit 5, we will look at early stimulation, activities promoting infant cognitive and psychomotor abilities, preparing the learning environment for infants, the stages of language development for infants. And unit 6 really looks at the inclusive early childhood development course, which is currently being facilitated by the Early Childhood Commission, and a new cohort of parents practitioners would have started that program. We continue with the manual outline, and we will look at module 3. For module 3, in unit 1, we will look at a child's development, toddler at 12 to 18 months, the child at 18 to 24 months, the stages of language development for toddlers. For unit 2, we will look at early stimulation, and that is speaking to activities promoting toddlers' cognitive and psychomotor abilities, potty training, helping the untrained toddler, and the supportive caregiver. And unit 3, again, will be covered in the inclusive early childhood development course. And we will go to module 4. In module 4, we look at unit 1, growth and development, growth versus development, stages of development for children 2 to 3 years, nature versus nurture. For unit 2, we will look at theories of development, developmental task theory, psychosocial development theory, and sociocultural theory. We will do a comparison of the developmental task theory and the psychosocial and sociocultural theories. For Unit 3, we will cover the introduction to child nutrition, 2 to 3 years, meal planning, shopping and cooking, and childhood obesity. We will continue from Unit 4 to Unit 6. In Unit 4, we will look at early stimulation, child-directed and adult-directed activities, importance of play for children 2 to 3 years, types of play for children 2 to 3 years, education approach, and that we will be looking at Waldorf approach, Montessori approach, Reggio Emilio, and we will compare the educational approaches. In Unit 5, we go back to the inclusive early childhood development course, and the reason why it is now a standalone is because it is being repeated in this program so many times. And for Unit 6, the practitioners will be engaged in a practicum. So duration and mode. So we are expected to use a mixed modality for this program. The program, both for parents and practitioners, will be delivered throughout a 1-year period, which is really just 3 terms. All right, so practitioners will do the program for 1 year, parents will do the program for 1 year, and we will be using a blended approach. So throughout the training, there are various activities that will be covered, and those activities include participants conducting interviews, participating in role plays, design of questionnaires, completing pre-test and post-test, making of brochures, reviewing articles, both journal, textbooks, websites, and other sources, reviewing case studies, participating in debates, and participating in discussions throughout the program. So there are some benefits of this training program in particular. So upon the completion of this training, it is anticipated that participants will implement or strengthen appropriate practices that will result in optimal development of children even before they are born. Because it's 0 to 3, we're talking, when we look at module 1, you would have seen that we're talking when, speaking to when the mother just conceived, right? What should you expect? You should expect some engaging sessions that are hands-on, some field work, collaborative activities. So I would have said a lot just now, so it's time for you to take a moment and reflect on what was shared and, get ready for our discussion that will ensue in a moment. So time to take a minute. All right, so we are going to go right into, maybe that was a second and not so much so a minute, but we'll get into our discussion. Why was the course designed? Anybody can respond. You can type in the chat, you can open your mic, and you can speak freely. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Miss Winter here.
Go ahead, Miss Winter. Thank you.
All right. I'm kind of fresh to the early childhood institution, but basically my take on why was the course designed. I think the course was basically designed to assist the parents and early child practitioner to help to enhance the development. The developmental stages of the child from birth to 3, because remember, some child learns differently. You have children that learn physically, some child learn verbally. So for instance, you have a 3-year-old that doesn't respond. The course is designed to assist the parents and also early childhood practitioners to assist that child and to help to develop that child's ability to learning. So I think that's some of the things that the course assists us to do. I'm not
Okay.
sure if I'm saying the right stuff, but I'm trying to get there.
Thank you. You are saying the correct thing. Thank you. Thank you for sharing, Ms. Winter. Any other response? Okay, so yes, we would have had some practices in place already, but we want to enhance those practices because there are some things or some goals that we're yet to meet, and this course will assist us to meet those goals, as you rightly said, Miss Winter. Thank you for responding. Any other response? No?
This is Mrs. Baker, Gooden Baker from the Jamaica Diaspora Early Childhood Task Force, Early Childhood Education Task Force.
Okay.
And kudos, this is such an excellent program and presentation, and so very timely, because as we're coming out of the pandemic, so many, there's been such learning loss across the world. And so this is a great way to really stem that learning loss and recover the learning. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for responding. And timely indeed. Thank you. All right, so we are going to another question to the participants is, who will participate in the course? Who is the course designed for?
Parents.
Anybody?
The course is designed for parents and practitioners.
It was designed for parents and practitioners. Thank you. And I think that was a parent or maybe a practitioner also. All right.
Parent and a practitioner.
Okay, thank you. What is the duration of the training program?
1 year.
1 year, thank you. Some activities that participants will be engaged in are what are some activities that participants will be engaged in? Hmm?
In the chat, we have here from Miss Sterling interviews, and Miss Roma, how to communicate with toddlers.
Okay, so we have a number of activities. Thank you. Yes, interviews, we will be doing role plays, we'll be doing interviews, we'll be designing questionnaires, brochures, and those things. So those are some of the activities that participants will be engaged in throughout the course. Thank you. All right, so one final question. What is the intended benefit for participants? All right, so we have the benefits here. Let me just reiterate the benefits because I think the benefits are very critical for us to recall. So upon the completion of this program, it is anticipated that participants will implement or strengthen appropriate practices. So we already have some practices in place. So when you complete this program, we expect that you will strengthen those practices as it relates to interacting with children 0 to 3 years old, so you can, impact their optimal development of the newborn and the children up to 3 years old. So We hope to strengthen what you already know so we can have that optimal development of children even before they are born. Do you have any questions or concerns or comments for me? Thank you. If there are no questions, are there any questions in the chat?
No, I'm not seeing any at this time.
Okay. All right. So thank you for listening. And that was the overview of the 0 to 3 comprehensive course manual. And we look forward to, continue to share with you what our intentions are. Over to you, Miss Andy.
Thank you, Mrs. Edwards Brown. So you will agree then that we're on a very interesting journey. And I invite you to come along with us as we take you on this journey. Some interesting pointers came forth: growth and development. I heard those. Conception to birth. Parenting or parent training manual was mentioned. First 1,000 days, I heard those terms coming forth. Child development, healthcare, and so on. So come with us as we take you on this journey. At this time, Miss Tavina Brown will be breaking the ice with an icebreaker.
Thank you, Miss Handy. Good afternoon again, everyone. Thank you again for joining us. After all of that information, it's time for us to break the ice. And I just need you to do one simple thing for me. All right, so I'd like participants to tell me use three words, two of which I'm going to ask you to describe what your week was like, and one word to describe what you'd like it to be. So I'll go. 1 second, please. All right. So 2 words to describe what your week was like, and 1 word to describe what you'd like it to be. So for me, my week was full, energetic, and the 1 word that I'd like my week to be is to be restful, the rest of my week to be restful. Now, can I have some participants? I'm going to ask the participants in the various regions to go ahead, starting with region 3. Region 3, can I have a participant to just tell us 3 words, 2 to describe what your week was like, and 1 to describe what you'd like it to be for the rest of the week. Region 3. Anybody from region 3? You can also type in the chat for me. Remember, just 3 words, 2 to describe what your week was like, and 1 to describe what you'd like it to be. I think I hear somebody from region 3. Go ahead.
Okay, hectic,
challenging, and I want it to be smooth for the rest of the week.
Thank you so much, Caroline. So Caroline's week was hectic and challenging, and she's looking forward to it being smooth. Thank you, Caroline. All right, let's go over to Region 7.
Hi, Tavina. Before you go to Region 7, I am making responses from YouTube.
Okay.
Tamika Carr from Region 6, Christian Gardens, said our day was hectic and fun.
Awesome.
And Leonie, fearful, restful, and busy.
Awesome. Thank you, Leonie. Thank you, Tamika. All right, so Region 7, go ahead.
Tiring, fun, restless. What I would like it to be, restful.
All right, thank you, Andrea. So Andrea's week was tiring and fun and restless, and she'd like it to be restful. Thank you. All right, let's go over to Region 4.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Colette.
My week was stressful and tiresome, and I wanted it to end joyful.
Awesome. So Colette is looking forward to a joyful rest of week from the tiring one. Great. Thank you, Colette. All right. So let's go over now to Region 2.
Productive, quiet, and for the rest of I'm making to continue just like that.
Awesome, Yvonne. Great.
Oh, this is Mrs. Champagne.
All right. Thank you, Mrs. Champagne. Awesome. Great. All right. Let's go over to Region 5.
For Region 5, we're tired, frustrated, we need peace.
Thank you, Gracianne. I hope that you will have your peace. All right, so let's go over now to Region 6.
Region 6. Tired. Region 6 has been busy. It has been fun and exciting.
Awesome.
And we want to end the week with enthusiasm for the next week.
Awesome. Region 6 is ending with enthusiasm. Thank you so much, Region 6. Region 2.
Before you go to Region 2,
Okay.
Nadine Mendez from Region 6 said that it was stressful, miserable, and fun.
Awesome.
That's from the YouTube.
From the YouTube. Thank you so much, Nadine from YouTube. I have Denise in the chat that says, my week was dull and gloomy, but would like it to be full of life and a bit more cooperative. So Denise, I hope that your week becomes cooperative for the rest of the time. Thank you so much. I also have, let's see, in the chat, we have Tajan says it was busy and tiresome, and she'd like it to be quiet. So I wish for you a quiet rest of the week, Tajan. I have Marita Samuels from Region 5 says that her week was hectic and stressful, and she wants it to be restful. Region 1, where are you? Region 1.
Tavina from the live stream from Region 1, Miss Hutton said our week was fun, productive, and hopeful for the rest of the week it will be restful.
All right, thank you so much, Nicole. And in the chat, we have Ms. Jackson from Region 4 who says that her week was hectic and energetic and she wants it to be relaxing. So I think we can all agree that all of us want the rest of the week to be relaxing. We're almost there. So continue to push through your week and let us continue to enjoy today's session as we learn strategies to help us with our children 0 to 3 years old. And thank you so much for participating in our icebreaker. Nicole, over to you.
Thank you, Miss Tavina Brown. So with all of that said, we're going on that relaxing, informative journey at this time. So to take us through the overview of Module 1, Units 1, 2, and 3 are Mrs. Kesia Archer-Howell, ECD Supervisor Region 2, and Mrs. Brandy Erson, Development Officer Region 2. Welcome, ladies. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Handy. And I love the fact that you have been speaking so much about the journey that we are taking everyone along with. And for this part of the journey, we're going to start at the very beginning. Where does it all begin? And for each of us, it begins at conception. And module 1 is conception to birth. Now, I want you to talk back to us a little bit, whether you unmute your microphone or go to the chat, but I want you to tell us what comes to mind when you think of the period conception to birth. What comes to mind? I'm going to ask Mrs. Handy to monitor the chat to see if we're getting any responses there. But what comes to mind when you think of the period of conception to birth?
Someone said sickness, another said excitement.
All right, so both sickness and excitement are a part of the journey. Anyone else wants to share? Yes, thank you.
Prenatal care, someone said.
Awesome, prenatal care is a part of the journey when we think of conception to birth. Anyone else?
Trimester.
I heard someone saying something, but I couldn't hear clearly. What were you saying?
From Region 7, they're saying sex.
Sex. In for most instances, we need to have sex in order to conceive. So that's a very important part of the journey as well. Thank you for sharing that. And I think that's why a lot of people love this module, because they're thinking about how the conception occurs. So thanks for sharing that. All right, anyone else?
Yes, from Region 6, trimesters.
Trimesters. So we will actually be looking at the 3 trimesters that takes us through pregnancy and prepares us for the arrival of our newborn. So thanks for sharing. So all the things that you have spoken about are actually a part of module 1. And this is just an overview, but once we go into the course, then we go more in depth with each of these topics. So we're going to allow you to watch a video now. It's a very short video. We're not hearing.
Let me go again. Give me a minute, please.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you very much. And we could clearly see the journey happening there. But what I want us to be reminded of is that growth and development of a fetus, it happens with time. However, the actions of the expectant parents will actually help to make or break this process. And after being exposed to what we're going to have you look at in this module, we're hoping that we are going to make this process better. Right, next slide. In preparing for the life of a new baby, a lot of changes occur, and parents are encouraged to be intentional in ensuring that all the necessary steps are taken to keep both baby and mommy healthy. I'm going to turn over to my partner here, and she's going to continue.
Perfect. Well, no, and thank you for coming on.
Thank you, Brandy. I think somebody needs to mute. Please check your mics to make sure you're muted, please. All right, good afternoon, everyone. So we continue our journey with module 1. And I will be sharing with you a little more information now about module 1. So module 1 is intended to provide you with knowledge and skills required to have a safe and healthy.
Someone's microphone.
I am not seeing who the person is. Can Mrs. Candy or Brandy, can you check please and see if you can mute that person? Thank you.
All right, I'll check.
It's someone with Android.
All right, much better now. Thank you. So this module is intended to provide you participants with the knowledge and skills required to have a safe and healthy pregnancy upon conception to the point where both parents and of course the extended family are ready to meet their new baby. For this module, there are 3 units. Unit 1, prenatal antenatal development. Unit 2, nurturing care and nutrition. And unit 3, health care and pregnancy. Each unit is further divided into topics, and these topics were so designed so they are easily understood and you will be able to relate to the content. Each week, participants will delve deeper into each topic to make connections, and you'll be using practical experiences and activities. You would have seen a similar slide before, which gives a breakdown of the units and the topics. So, Unit 1, the topics are conception and early pregnancy, what to expect in the first, second, and third trimester. Unit 2, nurturing care and nutrition, and the topics you will explore there are maintaining a healthy diet, exercise during pregnancy, the impact of touch and voice on a fetus, and fathers and mothers bonding with babies before birth. And then the final unit in module 1 has these topics: a healthy pregnancy, harmful practices, diseases and environmental influences, maternal illnesses, maternal hygiene, and the exciting part, all you need to know about labor is the final topic in Unit 3. So while being engaged in Module 1, your instructor will facilitate sessions guided by the topics and the duration for each topic. And these activities can be facilitated either face-to-face or online, or using both online and face-to-face as a blended approach. So during this module, you will be exposed to information that is geared towards maintaining a safe and healthy pregnancy while caring for parents and the developing fetus, while also forming special bonds even before birth. And we know from research and perhaps even our own experiences that the time we spend with our children before they are born is crucial to their overall growth and development. So what are some of the activities that you will be doing? You will be downloading and exploring the first 1000 Days app. You will be having online and face-to-face discussions. You will be analyzing case studies and scenarios. You will be exploring stimulation exercises, and you'll be also doing role plays, as well as reviewing and discussing articles individually and also in groups. You will be designing questionnaires, visiting medical facilities that do prenatal care, and you will also hear presentations from resource persons. So you see a lot of varied and exciting activities you will be engaged in. And of course, after having you engaged in the activities, we would want to know how much you have learned. So these are some of the assessments that will be done: short quizzes, group presentations, project-based assignments, journal entries, proposals, pre and post tests, as well as role plays. So that is a general overview of what will happen in module 1. Now I'm going to invite Brandy to come back and to look closer with you at unit 1, which is the first unit in module 1.
Right. Thank you. All right, so we're going to take a closer look now at each unit. And when we were exploring at the beginning, somebody shared that prenatal development is a part of what they think conception to birth is about. And as you see, that's our first topic. So in unit 1, we're going to go into prenatal and antenatal development. So we have the objectives here. So we're going to want to define the key terms. We're going to talk about the stages. We want to define conception. We want to explain in simple words how conception occurs. We're going to talk about each trimester, what happens in each trimester, what happens to the developing baby during each trimester. And we can't go through without talking about the do's and the don'ts, because we want both baby and mommy to be safe and healthy. So the unit overview. So this unit is really to talk about the general expectations and practices from conception to the end of the pregnancy, where the mother goes into labor. We will explore the changes in both mother and fetus during each stage of the pregnancy, and how the body of the mother is expected to react as she goes through all of these changes. Now, the first topic, conception and early pregnancy, participants will further understand what is meant by conception as we explore how this process occurs. We want to expose you to the organs in the body and how they contribute to conception, ultimately marking the beginning of the life of a human. And we're going to have a sneak peek of what happens after conception as we continue with this topic. The next topic is what to expect in the first trimester. So a lot happens during the first trimester of pregnancy. The first trimester begins from the first day of the expectant mother's last period and lasts up to 12 weeks. And in this topic, we're going to further look at what happens in the first trimester. So a lot of people spoke earlier about morning sickness and not being well. And we will talk more about that when we go into the training. Is that question for me? Someone has unmuted. All right. So the next topic here is what to expect in the second trimester. So we're going to do that for each trimester. We look a little closer at the first, second, and third trimester. It's a little similar. So in this topic, we're going to explore the second trimester, discuss further how the mother feels and looks. We're going to talk about the fetus and the organs and how they become fully developed when the child starts to hear and swallow. And in the latter part of the second trimester, the fetus will begin to move around, and sleeping and waking cycles for the fetus may be noticed by the expectant mother during the second trimester. The third trimester signifies the last of the 3 trimesters as the baby's time to meet the world approaches. In this topic, we will allow participants to understand better how the mother is feeling, how the mother is looking, and how developed the fetus is at this stage. All right, so this is basically an overview of one of the topics. So if you look here, the theme is conception and early pregnancy. It's for 90 minutes. The resources that we will need in order for this topic, we're going to do pre-test. We're going to expose you to a presentation, a PowerPoint presentation on conception. So in order to do that, we are going to need a laptop. And if it's face-to-face, then we're going to also need a multimedia projector. And if we do a pre-test, then it is necessary that we do a post-test as well. So my colleague has the objectives up. So for this topic, we actually just picked out the objectives from the general objectives for the unit. I won't go through them, but the objectives here are in line with the objectives that we identified for the unit. We have our content questions. And what we really want to get out of this, how does conception occur? Have you ever heard the words antenatal development and prenatal development before? What do they mean? How many trimesters are there in a regular routine pregnancy? So those are some of the questions that will come out. So the activities, we have several activities. And the first activity in this topic is that we want our participants to do a pre-test. And this afternoon, we're going to let you have a sneak peek at this pre-test. So we're going to share it in the chat and give you a few minutes, maybe about 3 minutes to complete this pre-test. We're going to share the link now in the chat, and I'm going to give you 5 minutes to do this pre-test. Now remember, it's a pre-test, so if we can't get all the responses correct, that's fine, because we expect that at the end of this topic, when we do the post-test, then we will see greater results. So I'm going to give you 3 minutes. We're going to go ahead and share the link for you to complete this pre-test in the chat and let you have a feel of what the course will offer. All right, is it in the chat?
Not as yet, Brandy.
Not seeing it yet.
Miss Handy, can you share in the chat for me, please? Or let me try to share. All right, so I shared it. You should be seeing it now. Miss Handy, can you share in the chat for me, please?
Yes, it's being shared. You'll see, Charlie.
All right, so we have 3 minutes to complete this pre-test. 1 minute to go.
I'm sorry, Brandy, could you give another 2 minutes? The link, I just posted the link in the YouTube.
All right, no problem. Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, sorry about that, Miss Aronson. Called you by your first name.
That's okay. That's fine. Brandy's fine. That's fine. All right. So I hope that we have completed our pre-test. How do you feel about that activity? I'll take just 2 responses. So you can type in the chat or you can talk to us. Were you able to just go through and answer all the questions without giving it much thought?
I was unable to answer mine due to the fact that no true and false wasn't getting to tick or anything of the sort.
Also, you were not able to participate. All right, so we look into that. I'm not sure why, but thanks for sharing.
Miss, I did mine.
All right, so how was it?
Experiences.
Yes, that sounds like Miss Hayden. I can't see, but how was it for you?
It was okay. It was okay. I did it. I didn't know. I don't know if some of the answers are fit are correct because they were going. You gave us a little time. You said we have 3 minutes, so I was kind of rushing through it.
Right,
but
right.
It was okay.
All right. So when we actually do the course, when you're not going to get that short of a time, but this afternoon it really is just an overview for you to get an idea of what the course is like. And it's okay if we don't get all the responses correct when we do the pre-test, because this is the reason why we're actually doing the course, so we can get more familiar with additional content. So when we do the post-test, we will do better. So thanks for sharing. So that's one of the activities that we have for this topic. So after the post-test, then we will talk to our participants about what conception is. We're going to allow a few persons to share their understanding of how conception occurs. We're going to introduce participants to the terms antenatal and prenatal development. We are going to have participants view and discuss the PowerPoint presentation that we have done on conception. And then we're going to encourage participants to compile their own definition of the term conception. We're going to let participants share their definitions. So if it's face-to-face, we'll share in the room where we are. And if it's online, we can share in the chat or we can unmute. And then we're going to engage participants in a discussion on how conception occurs and the stages of prenatal development. And then allow participants to complete an evaluation form. You will realize that we have an evaluation form at the end of each topic. And the assessment for this particular activity is the post-test. And there are 10 questions, so it's easy to get the score for each participant. So that sums up one of our many activities for this topic. And we really hope that we're going to have some engaging and you'll respond in the way you are now. We have listed the resources here. We don't need to go in them, but we have the resources that we have used for this particular topic. So we're going to look closer now at one of the topics in Unit 2, and Mrs. Howell is going to take us through that topic.
Thank you, Brandy. And I I am unable to see the faces, but I can hear the excitement in the persons who have spoken and based on the responses that Mrs. Handy would have shared from the chat. So we are on our way now to look at nurturing care and nutrition, because we know that the activities that a pregnant woman engages in and also the expectant father is very important to how well the child will grow and develop. So the objectives of Unit 2 are to examine meals and select the one that is suitable for consumption by an expectant mother, explain the importance of vitamins to the expectant mother and fetus. You'll be looking at the benefits of vitamins, irons, calcium, and folic acid. You'll explain the benefits of exercise to an expectant mother. You will demonstrate recommended exercise routines for each trimester. And we have some additional objectives here for Unit 2. I will not go through them all now in the interest of time. So for Unit 2, we will examine the implications of diet and exercise and communication between parents and the developing fetus. Nutrition and exercise are crucial to the well-being of both the mother and the fetus, and bonds are formed between parents and a child from within the womb. It is therefore encouraged that communication begin during pregnancy. So the first topic in Unit 2 is maintaining a healthy diet. So in this topic, we will look closer at best nutritional practices during pregnancy and the benefits to both the expectant mother and her developing fetus. During the prenatal period, the developing baby will grow rapidly and totally depend on the mother for nutrients. And as such, it is very important that mommy is eating well. And we have research there that shows that maternal weight gain helps ensure the health of the baby and the mother. So diet, is very important for both mother and baby. Our second topic in Unit 2 is exercise during pregnancy. And I would like to hear from you before I give the overview of this topic. How do you feel about exercising during pregnancy? Should it be done? Should it not be done? What are your views on this? You can unmute or you can write in the chat. Mrs. Handy, please let me know if there are any comments in the chat. Thank you.
Someone said uncomfortable.
All right, it is uncomfortable. Anything else? Yes or no? Can I get a yes or a no? What do you think? Should we be exercising during pregnancy? Yes or no?
Yes, someone said.
All right, any no? I'm waiting a little bit to see if I'll get a no. All right, not so far, all right? And perhaps it is because of how beneficial exercise can really be to a pregnant woman. It says the many benefits of exercise to the expectant mother and the developing child will be explored in this topic. So definitely we are saying a yes, because there are benefits to exercise. In this topic, you will examine how appropriate or inappropriate different exercise activities are. Moderate exercise such as walking, swimming, riding a bicycle, or an aerobic workout in expectant mothers who are generally healthy and physically fit is related to increased birth weight. On the contrary, if the expectant mother exercises vigorously too frequently, this may result in lower birth weight than in healthy controls, and research has shown that again. Topic 3 under Unit 2, the impact of touch and voice on a fetus. The process of communicating with children begins before they are born. Studies show that a fetus has increased movements of arm, head, and mouth movements when an expectant mother touches her abdomen. In this topic, you will have a closer look at how a fetus may be stimulated through reading, talking, or just touching. And our final topic in Unit 2 is fathers and mothers bonding with baby before birth. And in our picture here, we see that daddy has his hand on the tummy and he's looking and listening. Perhaps he was talking to the baby too, we don't know, but just perhaps. It says both parents are important and should make an effort to form lasting relationships with children, not just mommy, but also daddy. This is a process that begins even before a child is born. So we'll be exploring all of that in this topic, and different ways will be suggested in how parents can bond with their children before the birth of the child. And we are going to have a little closer look now of one of our activities from Unit 2, the impact of touch and voice on a fetus. And this lesson is expected to last for 90 minutes. For this lesson, we will need the video that will be played, a laptop speaker, projector, and of course, notes for discussion. The objectives for this activity, you should, at the end of the activity, you should be able to explore different activities that can be useful in stimulating a fetus, discuss fetal behavioral responses, explore the importance of fetal stimulation, as well as demonstrate how expectant parents can stimulate a developing fetus. So at this time, we are going to look at some questions. So after you would have done this topic, these are some questions that you should be able to answer. Should expectant parents make an effort to stimulate a fetus? If yes, how is this beneficial? At what stage of pregnancy can we talk to the developing baby? What are some recommended activities that we can do with children using touch and voice? So at this time, I am going to share with you a video. I'm going to ask you to look and listen carefully, and then we will have a little conversation after about the video.
Hey, that's all I feel so. Yes, man, it's me. Come on in, girl. All right. Come right in. Long time. I'm here. Hi. Come on. I'm see it. You know, you're no stranger. So what's going, girl? As you can see, I'm here reading to my unborn. Let me imagine because it's already again. Yeah. But I reach for when the baby come. 2 months time. Yeah, that's good. So you feel all right and things though? Yeah, man. I'm getting up healthy and them things there. Yeah. Yeah. So apart from that, what are some things you do to ensure that you know the baby is well stimulated? Well, girl, you know me love sing, not true? So every chance I get, I sing. Yes. Jesus loves little children. Sometimes I create my own little songs that the baby will be healthy and strong. Yes. You know, so, but sometimes I'm tired of reading and I'm tired of singing to the baby. Sometimes I wrap my brain. What else can I do? Well, you know, you're not the only person in this family. It's also important that Daddy takes part in those activities. So, you know, instead of you always doing it, invite Daddy to Do a little of the reading, do a little of the singing. You can also take the songs and, play it from your phone or from another recording device. See that one frighten the baby? Oh no. Have you ever sing before and then you feel the baby just kicking, responding to what is happening? That's when I'm singing, but in terms of playing from a device, it has the same effect, right? So you don't have to sing from your mouth, but you can also play some songs. You can even get a headphone, put over the tummy to ensure the baby is listening, because you're building all these skills as early as possible within the child, all right? And when the baby is born, he or she will be stimulated, within our family, what our children are like. And so, as the mantra says, start them right, make them right. So you're gonna make sure now that you are starting at home during your pregnancy. You're not gonna wait until the baby is born to start the stimulation process, right? You want to stimulate the baby in every way, intellectually, emotionally. So you just even touching the tummy. Sometimes when you're singing, you rub the tummy. Yeah, man. You understand? So you're allowing the child to recognize your voice and recognize your touch, to feel comforted, and all of that. So then sure you do it, Yeah, man. So how is Ozzy? Am I right? He's alright, That's great. Working long hours, but but I'll have to talk to him about it, because I'm happy you came and you shared that part that he can sing as well. Yes. You can make Kyra take part too. Kyra is a part of the family. So ensure Kyra does that too. So when the baby is born, the baby know that this is sister's voice, and this is mommy and this is daddy. Yes. So me not stay too long with your skill. You just run, touch and go. You just want to hello and then other things there. So take care of yourself and ensure you do the things them, because you want healthy, happy baby. All right, you take care. Yeah, man. All right.
All right. So although she said she was just touching and going, I hope we would have learned something from that video. So my question to you is, what stood out for you as you watched that video? So like a baby is answering, which is good. Any adults want to answer? Mrs. Handy, is there anything in the chat? All right, so let's ask you a more direct question. What are some of the activities that can be done based on the video to stimulate an unborn child? You can unmute and answer, or you can type it in the chat.
You can sing.
Can sing to the baby. Excellent. Thank you for sharing. Can I get 2 more responses, please?
Talk to the baby.
Talk to the baby. Thank you.
Read the baby. The baby.
Read to the baby. I think somebody else wanted to say something.
Relax full and enjoy your pregnancy.
All right, so relax with the baby. Thank you for sharing. Excellent points. All right, so on screen we have some, for me, I think they are fun facts, but also grounded in research. So we realize that from 4 months, your baby can feel it when the mommy strokes the skin of her tummy. In terms of hearing, from the 7th month of pregnancy, the baby is not just able to detect sounds both inside and outside the womb, but the baby can also, I'm saying baby, let me say fetus. The fetus can also react to what he hears. So I say they are fun facts because it is just amazing how many things a fetus can do while inside a mommy's tummy. So because of this, we are even more reassured that all the stimulation, the reading, the singing, the touching are all very important to do while the baby is in mommy's tummy. So after we would have watched the video, we would have a further discussion on the importance of fetal stimulation as we had started to do just now. And then participants will get some words to unscramble another fun activity that you will be engaging in just now. So you will check the chat and you will find some words there that you will unscramble. All these words are words that state benefits of fetal stimulation. All of them won't necessarily happen while the child is in mommy's tummy, but even after the birth of the child, we will see some of these benefits. I'm unable to see the chat, but please let me know, Mrs. Handy, when you have put the words in the chat.
Share now, it should come up shortly.
Thank you.
They're there now.
All right, thank you. Go ahead and look at the words. They are in scrambled form and see what benefits fetal stimulation could have on a baby. As I said, some can be while the fetus is inside as well as after the baby would have been born. Let's see who will get all of them first. 8 words. Thirty seconds to go. All right. So let's see if we can get all 8 of them. If we can't get all 8 now, then it is fine. So let's go. When you are telling me the word, when you have unscrambled the word, please say the number that you have unscrambled. Who is ready? Who is brave enough to go first? I'll give you a clue. Number 1 should start with L. Number 1 should start with the letter L.
That's loved.
Loved. Excellent. Great response. The child will feel loved. Great. Somebody was saying something about the chat. You can go ahead for me now.
Yes, I was saying someone typed loved.
Loved. All right. So we're going in order then. All right. Did anybody get number 2? Well, we're just going to do 2 more. Any other one? Number 7 starts with an A. When it's unscrambled, that word should start with an A. What's that word?
Someone typed number 3 as sorry. Someone else said communication for another word, or communicate for number 2.
All right, thank you for sharing. So I have to say I am sorry too, but sorry is not there for that one. So you can look back at it. So, okay, but communicate is definitely there. So thank you for participating in this activity. So this should be a fun activity for you to do when you're actually doing the course. Of course, you'll get more time to look through your words and to go through them, and you'll get all the correct answers. And then even after you'd have completed the topic, you may be able to go back and find the words that are there. So after doing the words, after unscrambling, the conversation will continue on the benefits of fetal stimulation. And then in groups of 3, participants will demonstrate through role play how an expectant mother, and importantly the father, may stimulate the fetus through singing and talking. I think that will be a fun activity to participate in and to see others engaging in. And that's pretty much the end of that activity. Participants will complete the evaluation form, and then there is an assessment where participants will write a reflective journal entry on what they have learned about stimulating a fetus And a rubric is there that specifically outlines the expectation for the journal entry. All right. I am catching up on my slides. And at this time, I will turn over to Brandy, who will continue with Unit 3. I'm getting there, Brandy.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. So if you can recall, here we go. Unit 3 has to do with healthcare and pregnancy. And we're just going to look a little closer at one of the topics for this unit, healthcare and pregnancy. Again, we have some of the objectives. We went through the objectives when we looked at the entire units, the modules. So we won't go through these again. So we're going to talk about labor and the stages of labor and what kind of healthcare persons need to do. What are practices that can be harmful to the mother and baby. So all of those are in our objectives. What we need to pack in a bag to ensure that we have at the hospital. What are different maternal illnesses. So all of those will come out in the various activities. And very importantly, we have added maternal hygiene because we want to key in on that as well. So an overview of this unit. So health care during pregnancy is multifaceted and it involves a lot of things. So medical visits, prenatal testing, nutrition, exercise, screening for infections and certain genetic diseases where appropriate, getting all maternal illnesses under the control and taking any other special consideration will be what we explore for this unit. The first topic is a healthy pregnancy. In this topic, we will explore why prenatal care is significant for a healthy pregnancy. Routine care is offered through health centers, a family physician or an obstetrician. Routine visits should be scheduled throughout all 3 trimesters of pregnancy. So the doctor will tell you the frequency or the maternal clinic, not clinic, nurse. So the medical history, proposed due date, nutrition, lifestyle issues. These are all things we are going to explore. And these are things that are explored when you do routine visits during pregnancy. So during these visits, an expectant mother and her partner can talk to their healthcare provider, get updates, share any questions or concerns, because we want the journey to continue smoothly. So physical examinations, lab tests, ultrasounds, and screenings are sometimes done during this period. In this topic, we're going to take a closer look at health, why being healthy is an essential component. We want to look too at diet. So a healthy diet provides the body with vitamins and minerals. However, during pregnancy, it's recommended that an expectant mother takes additional vitamins and minerals. Folic acid helps in the prevention of tube defects, while iron supports the development of the placenta and the fetus. And as we go in the activities for that topic, we will look closer at a healthy pregnancy. Now, the second topic for this unit is harmful practices, diseases, and environmental influences. In this topic, we want our participants to become more familiar with the various teratogens. And teratogens are any environmental agent that causes damage during the prenatal period. We want to speak about the effects that these have on the developing fetus. And these teratogens include prescription drugs, non-prescription drugs, illegal drugs, tobacco, alcohol, radiation, environment pollution, and maternal diseases. And believe it or not, a lot of persons don't know the implications of many of these teratogens. So we really need to explore it some more. The next topic is harmful maternal illnesses. The probability that the baby will be born with a birth defect or have a chronic health problem increases if the mother has a maternal illness. So we're going to look closely at that during this topic, explore the many illnesses that can cause adverse outcomes to a pregnancy and their effects on the fetus. So these illnesses include diabetes, thyroid, hypertension, strep B, toxoplasmosis, and rubella. And there are others, but we just added that it includes these. All right, Kesia?
Thanks, Brandy. So we continue Unit 3 with the topic maternal hygiene. It is important that pregnant women engage in practices to maintain good health and prevent diseases. So we will be exploring activities they can do, taking daily baths, relaxing, breast care, health care, dental care. We'll be exploring all of those topics in this maternal hygiene. Persons who are at the resource centers, if you look in your kits, you will find pictures of different objects or items that can actually be used to support good maternal hygiene. So I'm going to invite you to just take a minute, go over to your kits and look for any picture there that you think could be useful to an expectant mother in maintaining good health while pregnant. So region 6.
I think too, for those who don't have the kits, they can type in the chat anything they think too.
Exactly, that can work too. Thanks, Brandy. So region 6, can you just show, I saw you looking so lovely on camera just now. Can you just show us something from your kits, a picture from your kits that actually will support a pregnant woman's hygiene? And if any other region wants to show us a picture, you can go right ahead as well. I am not able to see those, so Brandy, let me know when the picture comes up.
All right, afternoon, Kesia. So in region 6, we have a picture of clean underwear as well as a pack of sanitary napkins.
Excellent, excellent choices. Thank you, Sophia.
You're welcome.
All right, any other region come in? Do you have anything different from a clean underwear and sanitary napkins? How about region 2? All right, they are still looking, so we will continue until they have found it. Also in Unit 3 is the topic, all you need to know about labor. The start of labor is known as the latent phase. At this stage in the pregnancy, an expectant mother's cervix becomes soft and thin in preparation for expelling the baby. Some labor signs include, I don't know how many of us here would have gone through some of these, so I'm taking some persons down memory lane now, I guess. Contractions or tightening, backache, increased urge to go to the toilet, and membranes rupture. And that is what we call locally the water breaking. So this should be an interesting and exciting topic, and we will explore labor and how expectant parents prepare for labor. So lots of knowledge and learning in this topic as well. Brandy?
Yes. All right, thank you so much for sharing, and I can just picture persons doing some very exciting role play for that topic. All right, so the topic that we're going to look a little closer at is harmful practices, diseases, and environmental influences. And the theme here is teratogens, the implications of teratogens on a developing fetus, and tips to protect the developing fetus from these teratogens. So this topic is a little bit longer than the other one. Based on the content that we're going to explore, it's actually 120 minutes. The resources that we will need, we're going to do a PowerPoint, so we need a multimedia projector if it's face-to-face. We need a laptop, persons joining may need a cell phone or tablet, and we need the presentation itself. Now, at the end of this session, so it's the term teratogen is new to a lot of persons, so we want them to be able to define what a teratogen is, be familiar with some of the harmful practices, diseases, and environmental influences, tell how the developing fetus may be negatively impacted by some of these harmful practices, diseases, and environmental influences. We want persons to be able to give tips to prevent some of these harmful practices, diseases, and environmental influences that may negatively impact pregnancy. So the questions we have: what is the meaning of the word teratogen? Name some teratogens that may affect the development of a fetus. What are the implications if you're exposed? And what are some of the things an expectant mother may do to limit the exposure to these teratogens? Now, what are the key activities for this? We're going to have persons brainstorm the word teratogen. If the term is new to persons, then we're going to allow them to use their smart devices or their dictionary to help them in finding the meaning of this word. We want to also, after persons have shared their definitions or what they have found, then we're going to show them what we have on the presentation and then have a very active discussion as we go through the presentation. We want to then encourage persons to write their own definition. So initially, we found a definition elsewhere, then we expose them to the content, and then we're going to have participants coin their own definition. Then we want to engage participants in a discussion on the presentation. So what else apart from the definition? What are the takeaways for you? Then we want persons to write a short story. So we're going to be very creative here. Write a short story about an imaginary expectant mother who has been exposed to one or more teratogen and the implications that this exposure will have or may have on the baby at birth. Then a few persons will be able to share their short stories. Again, at the end of this topic, we will do the evaluation just to see how this topic was. The assessment for this one says participants will role play being a medical practitioner. In this presentation, the participant will introduce their patient to the word teratogen while explaining to an expectant mother the different types of environmental agents, such as smoking, radiation, medications, and maternal diseases. The implications of these should be thoroughly explained in this presentation and tips shared on how to avoid these teratogens. And there is a rubric that tells you it should last no longer than 10 minutes. And again, the rubric has specific guidelines in preparing for your presentation. So persons will know exactly what it is that we will be looking for when they present. We have the resources here that we will use for that topic. All right. Sorrel.
Thank you, Brandy. A whole mouthful.
Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing. So we are doing a little reflection on this module. For this module, you would have been exposed to a few of the activities just now, and you know some of the expectations for the module. After completing the module, participants would have learned about prenatal development in the 3 trimesters, nurturing care and nutrition during pregnancy, and health care and pregnancy. As an adult, that's you practitioners and even us as well, offering care to young children and their families, we must ensure that the decisions we make are grounded in established guidelines that inform what happens between the period conception to birth. And so while we are engaging in the different modules, we will be taking notes of all the resources and the tools that we find most helpful in supporting our role, so that at the end of this course, we would have all been better able to support our precious children from conception as best as we are able to. So, of course, we don't get the children coming into us from conception, but the parents, we will be able to provide guidance and support to them as well. So we have just looked fully somewhat at module 1, conception to birth. Module 2 now is intended to provide participants with the knowledge and skills required to interact with and care for children at the infant and toddler stage. So module 2 will look at the child birth to 1 year. So at the end of our units, this first one, module 1, your baby would have been born, and module 2 will support your learning about how to support that child's growth and development. So, and this concludes somewhat our presentation today on module 1. When you started this afternoon for your icebreaker, you were asked to give 3 words. I'm just asking for 1 word now. After this presentation, how are you feeling? 1 word to say how you are feeling now that you have been exposed to module 1, conception to birth. And I would love if you would open your mic and tell me quickly. Anybody? Somebody? Mrs. Sandy, is there anything in the chat?
Someone said excited.
Excited.
Another person said educated.
All right, excellent. I will go, those 2 works for me, educated and excited. So the content is there and the fun part is also there. So thank you so much. At this time, we will take any questions you have. Brandy and I are thankful for your participation, and we look forward to next week when we will go into module 2. Are there any questions at this point? All right, I will now hand over to Mrs. Sandy. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies, for such an awesome presentation of the modules 1, 2, and 3 of this very important and significant 0 to 3 comprehensive training session. Now, it has been a very interesting and informative journey, I believe you would all agree with me. We looked at a lot of things. Could someone just open and just tell us 1 thing that came at you during this presentation? What is it that you learned? What terms were very significant for you? Open your mic or type in the chat and tell us what that is. Anyone? What came out at you? What was significant for you? Any feedback? Anyone wants to open your mic or type in the chat? Someone said keeping your unborn child. Okay. Anyone else? Out of danger? Keeping your unborn child out of danger? Okay, anyone else? You can open your mic. Feel free to speak.
The environmental factors that affect your child while you're pregnant.
Okay, so that came out at you. Someone typed in the chat teratogens. That came out forcefully at us as well. Anything else? What was so significant? How do you feel about this sensitization and this program? Any feedback? What was so exciting about
the people that the persons that presented, they did a very good job. It was well researched and well presented.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Commendations, lady. You did an awesome job. Any other feedback? Feel free to express yourselves. All right. So during this journey, we looked, someone is speaking, go ahead.
I just wanted to say it was excellent. The teratogens jumped out at me as well. It was really so informative and just really empowering. You know, the thought that even what we do when the baby's in the womb, the fetus is in the womb, can pave the way for a life of success. Kudos to the presenters and to the entire team. This was a very well orchestrated training. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for that. Indeed, it has been very informative. And as someone said, they were quite educated during this session. And we are all excited about these three programs. So, you can mute the person who is muted. Please unmute.
Good evening.
Thank you. So,
good evening.
We look, go ahead. Yes, good afternoon. Go ahead.
The presentation was very good. I did enjoy myself. Some of the things what the presentation said, I did never know when it's pregnancy, what are some of the features you see during pregnancy.
Okay.
Can I also add, Mrs. Handy, from the live stream?
Yes.
Erna Blackneal said it was fun, productive, and informative. And person Maxine said she learned a lot about the fetus. And the session was informative, yes.
Thank you for that, Ms. Morgan, and thanks to those who shared. So during this journey, we looked at conception to birth, and you were quite enthused to talk about sex having it come about. We completed a pre-test during this segment where we looked at longevity of sperm. We looked at the various trimesters that were introduced. We looked at the journey of pregnancy and how important exercise is to this process. We also explored the importance of stimulating the fetus, be it the mother or other persons involved in this interaction. We also looked at how touch and voice is important to the fetus and how it impacts the unborn child. We looked at health care and how important it is to the child, and also how important it is for us to be informed about the various teratogens that has the probability of impacting the unborn child. So with that said, I invite you to join with us in our other sensitization sessions that will be conducted during this period to December. On December 2, there will be one session. On December 9th, there will be another session. And we will also be having a session on November 18, when we will be looking at another module. So we will be doing these sensitization sessions between now and December. And during the month of January, registration will be open on January 2 for you to register to be a participant in this course. So with that said, I do believe that you will agree with me that this afternoon has been well spent. You have been informed, educated, and I invite you to go to the chat where the various links are shared for evaluation, for you to complete the evaluation form regarding this course. So spend some time now and go to the chat or the YouTube link where the information was shared and complete the evaluation. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I'll allow Ms. to share any final comments she may have for you.
Thanks everyone for participating in the session. Thank you to the presenters. Remember, Mrs. Handy shared registration begins January 2. And I know you will be participating in next week's session on focusing on module 2 and the following week, focusing on module 3 and the final week, December 9, module 4. So I see you every Thursday. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and thank you for participating. Please remember to complete the registration forms and the evaluation forms. And thanks to our presenters. Well done, ECC.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, Samantha.
Oh, it's Santana. I was exited from the presentation. I came back in and now I'm not seeing any of the links. So I'm asking if the links could be resent in the chat, please. Thank you.
Okay, it will be shared shortly.
Okay, thank you.